Welcome to the Cenario podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, let's just dive right in. If you're, navigating modern life at its current speed, chances are you feel it. This, what we're calling the stress epidemic.
It really does feel relentless, doesn't it? Like you're always slightly on edge.
Exactly, it's constant. And frankly, sometimes it feels like our bodies are convinced we're, perpetually running from a very persistent accountant or something.
That's a good way to put it. And when we talk about that feeling, that deep kind of exhaustion, we're often circling back to one key player, cortisol.
The infamous stress hormone. Right. So our mission today in this deep dive is basically to give you a shortcut. We want to unpack the actual physiology of stress, but more importantly, explore the science-backed natural solutions, really focusing on adaptogens.
And we should probably start by saying cortisol itself isn't like the villain here. It's actually vital.
Okay.
It has this dual nature. Your adrenal glands make it, and you need it. It helps regulate metabolism. It dials down inflammation when needed, keeps your sleep-wake cycle running.
It's essential for survival, basically, like in a real crisis.
Precisely. It's designed to save your life. It gives you that instant energy burst, mobilizes sugar, suppresses things you don't need right now so you can, sprint.
Fight or flight.
Exactly. The problem today is the lion might just be an overflowing inbox or a looming deadline.
Right. But the body reacts the same way.
It does. And that internal alarm bell, it doesn't switch off for many people. It's constantly ringing.
Okay, so that brings us to the crux of it. When that system is stuck on high alert all the time, what's the actual cost? What are the tangible effects on your health from having constantly elevated cortisol? This is really the why you should care part.
Yeah, and the consequences are, they're pretty broad. They hit both mind and body. We see increased anxiety, often stubborn weight gain's a big one.
Particularly around the middle, right? That visceral fat.
Exactly that. And worse, chronically high cortisol actually weakens your immune system, makes you more susceptible to getting sick, and it really messes with cognitive function.
That's the part I find so frustrating. Your body thinks it's helping you stay vigilant, but you end up feeling foggy, unable to focus. You trade clarity for this constant, low-level alert state.
It's a terrible trade-off, systemically speaking. The adrenal glands are just pumping out resources nonstop to keep that stress response going. And if that goes on for too long, the body's feedback loops kind of break down, the system gets fatigued, it can't properly lower cortisol at night, for instance, so levels stay high, and you start burning out your adrenal resilience.
It sounds like a system that desperately needs, well, maybe not a mechanic, but like a natural volume knob.
That's a great analogy.
And that leads us perfectly into the stars of our sources today, adaptogens. Now, before we get into specifics like ashwagandha, quick question. Are adaptogens just like numbing the alarm bell instead of addressing the fire?
That's a really important distinction. And no, not at all. Adaptogens aren't sedatives. They don't just shut down the stress response. What they do is enhance your body's own ability to manage stress, to adapt without overreacting. So yeah, think of them more like that volume knob.
I like that. A volume knob, not an off switch. It helps keep the reaction manageable.
Exactly. It prevents that full-blown, totally draining physiological spike when stress hits.
Okay, so if we're looking for the adaptogen with the most solid science behind it, specifically for modulating cortisol, one name keeps popping up everywhere, ashwagandha.
Absolutely. Withania somnifera, it's pretty much the undisputed heavyweight champion in this area. And that's because there's just so much research confirming how it helps regulate the HPA axis.
The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the body's main stress control center.
That's the one.
So what does that research actually show regarding cortisol levels?
Well, the evidence is remarkably consistent. Multiple human studies show that taking ashwagandha significantly lowers serum cortisol levels in people dealing with chronic stress, whether it's psychological or physical.
So for you listening, this means it's a tested, reliable tool for managing that physiological overload from stress.
Correct.
Okay, let's get practical then. If someone's thinking about trying this, what about dosage? And, the different types you see advertised. What's a standard range to aim for?
Yeah, based on the studies, the most effective daily dosages usually fall somewhere between, say, 250 milligrams and 600 milligrams per day. And consistency is key.
Right, taking it daily. Yeah. Now, you mentioned types. Supplement aisles are confusing. We see names like KSM-66, Cenario. What's the actual difference? Does it matter if it's root only or root and leaf?
It actually can matter, yeah, because that difference lets you potentially tailor the supplement more towards your specific stress symptoms.
Ah, okay. Tell us more about that.
So KSM-66, for example, that's a full-spectrum extract, but it focuses only on the root of the plant.
Okay, root only for KSM-66.
Right. And the research suggests this form is particularly good for enhancing overall stress resilience and, importantly, for boosting memory and cognition.
So if stress makes you feel mentally foggy, forgetful, maybe KSM-66.
That's often the thinking, yes. It seems to help with that cognitive side of stress.
Got it. And Cenario, what's its focus?
Cenario uses both the root and the leaf. This means it has a different profile of active compounds, particularly these things called glycosides.
Okay.
And this form, Cenario, is often highlighted more for supporting energy levels and maybe more acutely reducing feelings of anxiety or tension.
So if your stress leaves you feeling exhausted but also kind of wired and anxious, Cenario might be a better fit.
Potentially, yes. It seems geared slightly more towards the fatigue and anxiety aspects.
That makes the choice much clearer. It's about targeting whether you need more help with the mental fog or more help with the physical fatigue and anxiety. Useful.
Exactly.
Now, ashwagandha is clearly the headliner here, but it's probably not the only natural tool for supporting adrenal health, right? What's the supporting cast look like?
Definitely not the only one. Rhodiola rosea is another standout adaptogen.
Rhodiola, okay.
Right.
What's its special skill?
It's particularly noted for helping decrease the body's morning cortisol response. You know that unpleasant jolt of anxiety some people feel the second they wake up.
Oh yeah, like you wake up already stressed.
Right. Rhodiola seems to help modulate that early morning spike. And by doing that, it can improve overall stress symptoms throughout the day, boost mental performance, and it's often cited as being great for reducing fatigue.
Interesting. So if that morning dread is your main issue, rhodiola might be worth looking into.
Yeah.
What about others for just general resilience?
Yeah, there are others used traditionally and increasingly researched. Holy basil, also called tulsi, and ginseng, various types, plus the medicinal mushroom cordyceps. These are all considered powerful for building overall stress resilience, helping the body cope more efficiently, even if their direct cortisol-lowering evidence isn't quite as extensive as ashwagandha's.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. What if you need something quicker? Not for long-term adaptation, but something to help blunt a sudden acute stress spike, like right before a presentation or something.
Ah, yeah, that's where something like L-theanine comes in.
The amino acid from green tea.
That's the one. L-theanine is really prized for its calming effects. It tends to work quite quickly, sometimes within about 30 minutes or so.
And it doesn't make you drowsy.
Generally, no, that's the benefit. It promotes relaxation, kind of takes the edge off, without sedation. So it's a great option for potentially blunting those immediate cortisol spikes when you feel that sudden pressure or anxiety building.
Good to know. Now, we can't talk about building resilience without touching on the foundations, right? Basic nutrition. Are there specific vitamins or minerals that are critical here for supporting the stress response system itself?
Absolutely crucial. You really can't underestimate the power of, I'd say, 3 key nutrients in this context. First up, magnesium.
Okay, magnesium. We hear a lot about it for sleep and muscles.
Right. It's known as a natural relaxant, but it's also directly involved in regulating cortisol pathways, and many people are actually deficient. If you are, supplementing can make a noticeable difference in helping lower circulating cortisol.
Makes sense. What about omega-3s? Usually think heart and brain health for those.
They are definitely key for heart and brain, yes. But research also shows that omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, can significantly reduce cortisol levels.
Really? How?
Well, they seem to modulate the HPA axis activity, plus they are powerful anti-inflammatories. And remember, chronic stress is inherently inflammatory, so omega-3s help combat that inflammation, which is essential. Higher doses are often needed for this effect, though.
Okay, good point on dosage. And finally, vitamin C. It feels like the basic one, but you mentioned its importance.
It is vital, yeah. We associate it mainly with, like, colds and immunity. But think about the metabolic burden of chronic stress.
Right, the body's working overtime.
Exactly. Producing all that cortisol is taxing. Vitamin C is a major antioxidant, and it helps clean up the metabolic mess, essentially, that comes from that constant stress response. It directly supports adrenal gland health and function, and studies do show it can help reduce subjective stress symptoms and lower cortisol. It's a really important complement to the adaptogens.
Okay, so we've built this great toolbox, ashwagandha, maybe rhodiola or L-theanine, magnesium, omega-3s, vitamin C, but we have to talk integration. You can't just pop pills and expect miracles if the rest of your life is chaos, right?
Absolutely not. That's probably the most important takeaway. These supplements work best. Their effectiveness is maximized when they're part of a broader, holistic approach.
You can't out-supplement a fundamentally stressful lifestyle.
You really can't. Adaptogens are sophisticated tools, yes, but they need an environment that actually supports recovery and balance.
So what are the non-negotiables? The lifestyle factors that you have to focus on alongside these supplements for them to really work?
Well, they're the fundamentals, but let's frame them through this cortisol lens. First, a balanced diet, whole foods, limiting processed stuff, and sugar, which can spike cortisol on their own.
Okay.
Second, regular physical activity. Exercise is one of the best ways to help your body metabolize stress hormones and reset.
Makes sense. Move your body.
And third, critically, adequate sleep. This one is huge.
Sleep always comes up.
Because it's non-negotiable for hormonal balance. If adaptogens are like adjusting the volume knob on your stress, sleep is the essential system restart button that has to happen every night. You simply cannot fine-tune a complex hormonal system if it hasn't had a chance to fully reboot.
That's a powerful reframe. Not just rest, but a system reboot. Okay, practical question. If someone starts taking ashwagandha consistently, how long before they might actually feel a difference? Are we talking days, weeks, months?
It varies, of course, but generally improvements in how you handle stress, maybe feeling less anxious or overwhelmed, are typically noticed within about 2 to 4 weeks of consistent daily use.
2 to 4 weeks, okay.
Some people might notice subtle shifts sooner, but yeah, it's not an instant fix. It requires that patience and daily consistency.
Good to manage expectations.
No.
And finally, the crucial safety reminder we always need to include.
Yes. Always talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before starting any new supplement regimen, seriously.
Especially if you have existing health conditions, right? Or take other medications.
Absolutely. Especially then. You need to ensure it's safe and appropriate for you and to avoid any potential interactions or contraindications. Safety first, always.
Okay, that feels like a comprehensive look at managing stress naturally. So to quickly recap the core finding, it seems like a combination approach is powerful. Consistent ashwagandha, maybe in that 250 to 600 milligram daily range, paired with those foundational nutrients like magnesium, omega-3s, maybe vitamin C, offers a really solid science-backed natural path towards managing chronic stress and finding better hormonal balance.
I think that's a fair summary, yes. And, thinking about this whole theme brings us back to that word. Adaptation.
Right.
If you're focusing on using these adaptogens and nutrients to enhance your body's physiological resilience, its ability to adapt, it really raises a crucial final thought for you to consider. Your body can adapt. But what corresponding mental adaptations or scheduling adaptations or even environmental adaptations can you make alongside these supplements? How can you consciously adapt your life to reduce the actual sources of stress to truly achieve that balance in what is, let's face it, a constantly demanding world?
Thanks for tuning in to the Cenario podcast. Don't forget to visit Cenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.